Does everybody hear us? Raise your hand if you hear
Can't
us.
hear you, but Wayne is having audio problems on his end.
Okay,
Okay.
I
All
guess
right,
we'll have
Ted. Yeah, everybody seems to be working.
okay, I guess we'll have to come back to you, Wayne, because I see you talking, but we hear nothing. Next is myself. I'm Ted from Northern Connecticut. I guess the vice president and the equipment has been a challenge, but we do have nodes and BBS is working. Let's move on to David, KC1 UIX. Good evening, David.
Good evening, Ted and all those here. KC1UIX, Dave. I'm in Kennebunk, Maine, a little bit down the road from Brian, and running one JNOS node and connected quite locally by RF and on the 44 net, of course. Oh, thanks.
Okay, that was it. That's it, Dave. Okay, kind of petered out at the end. Thank you, Dave. Next I see Andrew, K1YMI. Good evening, Andrew. A quick intro.
Good evening. It's Andrew, K1YMI, I'm in Little Falls, New York. Run a JNOS node. That's it.
Uh,
Next.
Good to hear you from Little Falls, New York. Next on my list is Jason, the K4APR. Good evening, Jason.
Hello.
Hey, good evening. Oh, somebody else talking?
Wayne said good evening. He just
Oh,
came on.
good evening, everybody. Jason Roush, K4APR. I'm located in Chesapeake, Virginia. Part of the Virginia Tarpon group. We've got maybe almost a dozen nodes running the BPQ Tarpon infrastructure around the Tidewater, southeast Tidewater area of Virginia. We're making strides. Sperry's on the call as well, and he's been just instrumental in helping us getting that going. So, and the only other thing is I own RPC Electronics LLC, and we do a lot of packet related products like the surface mount version of the Nino TNC, and a lot of radio to mini DIN packet adapters, mostly from Motorola and some other similar Tate data radios, and so that's primarily what I do on the side, amateur radio related things. So thanks for having me.
Very
Jason,
good. Very good, Jason. I see your products and do a good job. Yes,
excuse
Don,
me.
your
Ted,
turn.
excuse me for a minute. Jason, would you send me a letterhead, a copy of a business card or something?
Yeah.
Show telling me what you do.
Yeah, I can do. I'll send you. I can give you a little, and I'll send you a link to our website too. I'll put it in the chat for everybody.
That'd be great. Thanks.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
That'd be good, Jason. Thank you. Wayne, did I hear that you're back on audio?
I believe so. Can you hear me, Ted?
Yes, you're good copy. Go ahead.
Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah, Wayne in Greenville, Rhode Island. Still working on getting packet going in this state. I have spoken to a number of different clubs and Fidelity, W1OP. They are all showing interest in putting up packet, some nodes or land or what have you. So it's a work in progress, and I need some help. Well, we'll wait till later. I'll get into that a little later. Back to you, Ted.
Okay, Wayne, yeah, remind us for your final comments. Over to you, Don, Secretary. Any quick comments?
Don Goon, K1CMM.
Don, are you on top of things?
Pardon? I'm located in Portland, center of Connecticut. And as you know, I'm the secretary. And
I
also
think Don is having audio problems.
You're not hearing me?
Don, we're hearing you fine.
There we go.
Okay. Ted, The other people were hearing me, so I think it was at your end. You
Go
hear me
ahead.
now, Ted? Ted, do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. This is up for W1EDH EastNet packet system.
Okay, thanks, Don. Let's move along to Guy and KN0 Oscar. Good evening, Guy.
Oh, hi. I'm Guy, KN0O. I'm in Rockport, Maine. I just recently got interested in this, so I don't have anything set up yet, but I run a lot of Arden nodes up here. So,
Very
yeah,
good.
I'm new.
Ask questions as they come along.
Sure.
Thanks for joining us. Good evening, Pat. Good to see you. Your turn.
Pat, WV2CMF in Farmingville out on Long Island, New York. And I maintain several nodes, all running URO node, FBB, and FlexNet. And most of them are mostly working.
Good to hear, Pat. Thanks for all your help. Pat's been giving us a lot of hand in many different places. Let's move to Sperry, N4 Sierra Delta. Good evening.
Yeah, good afternoon or evening. Sperry here in the southeast corner of Virginia, down in Virginia Beach. Work with Jason on the Virginia Tarpon group down here. I've got six neighbors connected to me. Multi-port Tarpon node, G8BPQ. I've got a second G8PPQ node that is part of the packet RF forwarding network. And we're working on trying to get some of the VAR users in the area connected up.
Very good, Sperry. Glad you could join us. Good to see you in there. Let's move on. On my list is Mark, November 2, Mike Hotel. Good evening.
Yes, good evening, one and all. This is Mark in 2MH. And for tonight's meeting, I am in West Orange, New Jersey, and not North Carolina. I run two BBSs, one in New Jersey, one in North Carolina, a JNO system and a BPQ system. I'm also very big into Arden Mesh, and I'm the original developer of the Mesh Phone PBX network on Arden. That's me in a nutshell, so back to you.
Okay, Ron, thank you very much. Let's see, my screen's been changing around a little bit. I'm not sure why, but I see next there's a Chuck, November Charlie 8, Quebec.
Good evening, everybody. Chuck, NC8Q, Dayton, Ohio. I have a BBQ system here and also active in Arden. Thank you very much.
Oh, very good. Thanks for joining us. If you have questions, certainly bring them up. Next on my list is November 8, Whiskey, Quebec. Alan?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Alan.
Hey, Ted. Good to see you guys again. Yeah, my name is Alan Jones. I live in Pike County, about 2 counties up from the Ohio River, and I also have a BPQ 32 system running. It's good to see you guys tonight.
Okay, good to see you. Thanks for joining. Let's move
Just
on.
let me interject. We have a lot of members that don't have their cameras on. If you do have a camera and it works, it'd be nice to see the face and put it with the name. And Ted, I did find an agenda thing, so when we're done with the interactions, I can tell you what's next.
Very good, thank you. Let's move on to Paul, KA1YZC. How you doing, Paul?
Good evening, Ted, and to everyone. It's Paul, KA1YZC. I'm in Meriden, Connecticut. We're running a BBQ with connections with the 44net and Arden Mesh. And we're also with connecting also with the AX25 itself. So It's a work in progress. We've been trying to get some of the glitches out, and as soon as I update something, it runs for about a few weeks, and then something pops up. So it's always a nice learning process. At least the system's still up. Back to you, Ted.
Paul, are you going to be at the Southernton Hamfest?
T- is it this weekend?
No, I don't think so.
All right, I'll look at the ARRL, but I will be at the Meriden one in October.
Oh, okay. I'll look
Yeah,
for it.
yeah, they're going to be at the same location at the high school.
Yeah, and the high school in Meriden.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll look. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Paul. And by the way, I'm upgraded here uh, with Linux, and I'm connected to the internet, I believe, and you might be seeing me on your nodes, on your net ROMs, possibly.
Yeah, I'll have to check to verify that, Ted, and we'll
Okay,
talk offline on that.
sure,
You
sure, very
gotta
good.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks, Paul. Let me see. Lou, moving on, I see a Brian Pasternak. I guess that's KA3 VSC, possibly.
Yes, guys, KA3 VSP. Brian, not much tonight, just good evening, everybody. Down here in Newcastle, Delaware, part of the Delaware Packet Network. The only announcement I have is we're starting up the Mid-Atlantic Packet meeting again this Saturday night. It's every second Saturday of the month, September through June. Invite is available at depn.net. It's Delta Echo Papa November.net /meet MEET. 7 o'clock Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, Saturday night. And the Zoom link again is at depn.net /meet.
Paul,
And that's
Brian,
all.
can you put that in the chat so we can?
Yes,
Thanks.
I will. All
Okay.
right, thank you.
Thank you, Brian, for bringing it up. Let's see. I think I hit everybody. Now I see a Rusty. KE2, somebody?
Yes, good evening. Can you hear me?
I hear you, yes.
Okay, I live in the southern portion of the Adirondack foothills, 35 miles north of Albany, and I maintain 5 nodes. 4 of them are FlexNet, and one of them is a URO node. And one of the nodes was on a county tower for many years, and the county took the tower down. And I'm on the verge of getting it resurrected next week, Monday. We hope to put up the tower, and shortly after that, I hope to have the node back on the air. That'll give us opportunity to have connection to the state police office, emergency operations center in Albany, and other parts southwest of the area here. But good to see everybody on tonight, and thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, very good, Rusty. Yeah, your
Rusty,
name
just
is.
Rusty, just a comment. Your video is washed out. It's we can barely see you, and it's like you're in the cloud yeah, in a cloud. Oh, there you go. That's better.
Sorry about that. Had a light on. Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. Now we can see you. Gee, you look younger every time we see you.
Thanks for Rusty for joining us. Yeah, you're an old timer from way up there.
Yeah.
I've seen your call sign for decades, I guess.
That's right.
Well, thanks for sticking with us and joining us and giving us your expertise. Good to see you. And I see Brian Webster there. Okay, Brian.
Hey,
Presidente, you can take over.
yeah, I apologize. It wasn't on my calendar. I haven't kept up with my packet stuff and all that stuff. I went through eye surgery a week and a half ago, detached retina and all that. So I really apologize for not being here. So Did we do introductions and everything?
Yes, we did introductions. So you're next, and then I think Charles is on the list.
Yeah, you
And
also have BKW and MEL.
I may have missed those call signs, but call them then. Yes.
I don't have anything yet. I'll comment after everybody else goes. So who wants to go next? Charles, were you up next?
Yeah, BKW, why don't you go next?
Okay.
Yeah, it's Brian up in Peru, Maine, playing around with 44net VPNs, some Arden stuff, and learning about Packet.
Brian, had you done any Packet in the past, or is this your first time into it, or what?
Have not.
Oh, well, welcome. You'll have fun with it. It's a sucking vortex of your time, just like all other ham radio projects. All right, who's up next?
N3 MEL.
Glenn, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing? Good to hear everybody tonight. Good to see you. Things are perking along here in PA. I can talk about the TPRFN status here a little later if you'd like. I think it's important to go over what Charles has tonight in the world of since HF is doing pretty well. We need to talk about some RF guidelines. So Charles is gonna pick away at that this evening. So good to see everybody, and I'll be here.
All right, good. Charles, who's up next?
Yep, that's me.
Okay, good.
Good evening, everyone. N2V, Charles, New York City. Let's see. I should have this printed out, but it's all right. 44 net coordinator, JNOS PBS in New York City, president of New York City ARICS, on the program emergency program board for Radio Relay International, and all around nudge, pain in the butt, and I don't care. I'm just going to get things done. Back to you, Brian.
Good. I didn't even see the agenda for tonight. Again, I'm so.
There wasn't one.
Okay.
Just what
I
you
thought
didn't
you were
prod-
going
You didn't
to.
prod me a week beforehand to ask me what we were going to do. So that's part of I'm going to blame you for part of this, Charles.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to send out your agenda like you normally do, and then it just ran out of my mind, and I forgot to get in touch with you.
That's
But
okay.
I have one here.
I hadn't kept up with my list traffic. Literally, I've got 2,000 list traffic things with all things ham radio that I haven't read yet, and having a whole week, well, busy time of work, losing a week and a half because I had to be laying on my face and stuff like that. That didn't help any. But good news is I've got some sight back in my right eye, and I'm not as blind as I was when the.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
The next, after the introduction, the next thing is the secretary's report, and I assumed I sent it out a couple of weeks ago, so I hope everybody got it. And then after that is whatever reports from the different areas, starting with Upper New England, and from there all the way to Florida.
Okay. Let's see. Who else is on? I see Chuck's on here tonight. Chuck, do you have any inputs that you want to talk about tonight since we got you there? Or you were here. All my stuff shuffled around. Are you still, Chuck? Yes,
no,
okay.
I'm here to audit whatever you guys talk about.
Oh, come on. Don't cop out like that, buddy.
I'm not.
Give us a little Arden update. Tell us about Babel. I've been happy with it and stuff like that. And I know we're having good results. Talk about the switchover and all that stuff. That'd be a good thing to talk about.
Oh, okay. I didn't plan on speaking. Yeah, there's planned over to eliminate the OLSR, optimized link stake routing protocol, in 2026. In the meantime, we're running that and the Babel protocol, which is much, much better. We've added infrastructure modes to it, so it's not all ad hoc or what they originally called mesh. We now have station mode and like access point, they call it point to multi-point mode. And that's going to handle a lot of the problems. We don't have the hidden transmitters will be regulated. Exposed nodes will be able to transmit while everybody else is listening. That's
huge. That's huge.
That is huge. So far, I've been moving my stuff over to mesh station and point to multi-point, and none of them has had any reduced throughput. I don't really have any mesh networking or topography here. Everything I've got set up is point-to-point networking, so I don't really have anything to gain by that. But in the future, it will allow another station to join the network and not cause interference. The throughput will be awesome.
Well, because one of the things that we used to observe when we would do temporary deployments with a OLSR and the mesh, when we would do a lot of video streaming because we have temporary traffic cameras that we deploy out on trailers and stuff for our law enforcement and Department of Transportation. And if we tried to have more than one station on the same frequency, the video would just freeze up. It wouldn't be, we had to go into point-to-point mode and separate channels on every link. And, the packet collisions were just massive when you were doing, UDP packets and streaming. So, which when you look at proprietary protocols like, Ubiquity runs and everything like that with AirMax and everything, you don't have as much of that problem. So infrastructure mode and stuff, that's going to be good. We'll have to play with that. We're actually this week we're doing some tower construction and I'm getting some big dishes put up in our county. So we're actually building a permanent, pretty good mesh in here in central New York. So that's good. Well, that's good. Thanks for the update. What is the cutover date that the OLSR is basically going to be kind of orphaned or just be dedicated stuff? What are we shooting for that?
The beginning of 2026, and it's not going to be more accurate than that for several months.
Okay, good. So any of you that have got old Arden mesh nodes that you haven't run for a while, highly recommended you find out if your hardware is going to be able to have enough RAM to accept the Babel protocol with the firmware updates, and then do the upgrades before you go to try to use it, and then realize you can't. So, good updates from Arden. Thanks, Chuck. Let's see, Jason, I see you're on here. Why don't we get an update from you, and what do you got going on?
Well, we've been working real hard down here to increase the numbers of nodes in the Virginia Tarpon network. Just 5 minutes ago, I got confirmed that 2 more guys are connected up that we're trying to work on getting their stuff connected today. So that's always puts a big smile on my face every time I see another guy connected up. But we're up to I think we're close to a dozen nodes actively on the air now. Unfortunately, they're not all linked to each other. The biggest chunk is Sperry's group over in Virginia Beach. They've got, I think, 6 or 7 of them. And then there's 3 guys just west of them. They're linked. And there's myself and 2 guys linked on my side. So we're getting little clusters. And now we're working those links between those clusters to get everybody linked up. So I'd like to say in the next couple months, I'd like to see that we've got, 15, 20 of us actually linked together. And that's, and I don't know if Sperry's going to talk about some of the really cool stuff he's been working on, but just a little hint, he's doing some really cool weather stuff right now with GOES. And that's some information that he's starting to prepare that we might be able to start sharing over the network. He did a really good presentation at one of the local clubs last week. And one of the things we were trying to convey to people of why they should join is the Tarpon network is not necessarily a way to talk, 200 miles away. It's to get everybody local talking, and then somebody like Sperry or somebody can then pass the traffic outside of the network. So the local Tarpon network is to handle all that local traffic. So I don't have to worry about using a Yagi to hit somebody 20 miles away. because my neighbor is only 4 miles, and then it's only 5 more miles for him. You know what I mean? So it really helps. And we've got a lot of guys that live in either restricted areas where they can't put a big, massive antenna installation. So the fact that we can get people close by to each other who can stick a $20 UHF vertical in their attic and be able to connect to their neighbor. That's what I'm doing. My two neighbors connected me. One guy's 3 miles, the other guy's 2 miles from me. I got two little fiberglass Yagis in the attic, and that's how I'm connecting to them. So the point is that, we can build this thing.
Well, the nice thing is that you're building hidden transmitter free links between
Yes.
each. So it's going to make the network really perform well.
Exactly. And we don't see well, obviously we're not seeing loading problems at all, just simply because we don't have enough users. But even when we do build the network out, we're not going to see those issues with it.
Right, because you're not going to have point to multi-point with
Right.
CSMA carrier sense access where people can't heal all the other stations. So there's packets.
Exactly. The links are dedicated between those two nodes, so I'm looking forward to seeing that more where we have more traffic and kind of prove that architecture really does work. But that's on the Tarpon side of things. I'm ramping up production of the surface mount Nino TNC again. I just hand built, and there are 6 of them the other night to make sure I've got orders filled, and I put a few in stock. The good news is I just took delivery about a month and a half ago of a pick and place machine. So as I'm working through that and I get that all tuned and working, I should start being able to produce not only that, but a lot of our other products a lot faster. Been doing a lot of LoRa stuff too, not Mesh-tastic. I don't deal with that. I call that Mesh-trashtic because that's all it is.
Because they're all learning the hard lessons that we learned in packet.
Yes, they're trying to reinvent the wheel, and we can't prove to them. They won't listen. We've already done it. So why are you trying to reinvent the whole wheel with the mesh?
Because we're just obnoxious hams, and we don't have to get our license. So you're just elitists.
Yeah. So whatever. I don't give a rat's ass, to be honest with you. But if I pull another couple of guys in, that's cool, But we're doing a lot of things like I don't know if I can hold this up in front of the camera. This is a little LoRa mini terminal we're working on using the Ricardo firmware, if anyone's familiar with Ricardo Guzman. And then we've got a couple other things that we're working on that are using the firmware written by my friend Remy up in Canada. I've got this is something that might be interesting to the packet guys. In fact, I probably got one behind me here I can show. This is a LoRa UHF 1 watt LoRa module on a basically a Pi hat that we developed but it talks KISS. So if you can feed it a KISS packet, you can make this thing do anything you want over a LoRa channel. So I currently have one sitting on a Raspberry Pi over here that is doing APRS. So I'm doing LoRa APRS.
So you're doing the LoRa protocol.
Yeah, and I've proven
the UHF ham radio 1 watt.
Say again.
The UHF ham radio frequencies at 1 watt.
Yes.
That's like Halo, right?
Right. It's similar, but it's LoRa. And I've taken 2 of these, for example, and hooked one to my WinLink RMS node, and then I had another one connected USB-C to my phone, and I was doing WinLink over LoRa, UHF LoRa, because these things just talk pure KISS. So
no, let's seriously talk about this for a second, because that's an amazing development. Because while we've been looking at like Vera FM to get higher bandwidth on stuff on a link, on a point-to-point link, what kind of throughput are you able to get with your UHF LoRa stuff?
Well, I'll be honest, I haven't really quantified that yet. I'm just proving that it works.
Okay.
What I really need to do is get some of these in the hands of people who are better at determining that a little better than I am. It's just seeing, how much can you push through these? Now,
1 watt into a good UHF beam.
Yes.
For point-to-point links from some of these tower sites. Now, I know you guys in the Tarpon world don't believe in that, but there's still a lot of that around a lot of these networks. And if we can go in and if it's going to KISS, because we've got protocols like the JNOS, the stuff that we're doing on the other, you can do it on VPQ, we can do it on Flex. We're proving that we're doing that. So now if we've got an RF module, what's the channel width that you're doing with the LoRa?
This is the Oh, you would ask me that. I forget exactly which one it is now. It's whatever the standard is that they're using over in Europe.
So is that a 1 megahertz wide channel?
I
Six megahertz.
I didn't think it was quite that.
Okay,
wide.
that's
I'll
well.
have to research that and find. I
Well,
don't
we've
want
got the
to
bits per
speak.
hertz. We've got the bits per hertz damn rule for ham radio stuff.
Right.
But no, that is. Do you have a price range that those are going to be?
Yeah. This right here is a complete module. I'm looking at doing like about $60, somewhere in that ballpark. Unfortunately, these modules, I used to get these for less than $8, and the last time I bought them, I just bought 25 of them. I paid right around $17 a piece. So unfortunately,
that's
because
a
of tariffs, they're
Yeah.
kind of killing me on that. Now here's a version of that same modem in a 3D printed case that I've developed. It's like a clamshell type case.
Yep.
And the antennas, you got two USBs, or I'm sorry, two SMAs. You've got an SMA for the UHF, and you've got an SMA reverse polarity for the Wi-Fi Bluetooth on the ESP32 that's in here. Now,
So it's just one antenna port, so it's still half duplex.
yes, it's still half duplex. That's correct.
Do
Because
you
one
have
of these antennas is handling your Bluetooth and Wi-Fi.
Do you have the ability to split transmit and receive into a full duplex channel?
That I don't know because I have not even looked into experimenting with that yet, but that would be an interesting thing to
Well,
find.
because now the throughput goes through the roof when you're not half duplex.
Yeah, so one of the things that I think we could do is because you talk to these modules through I squared C.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure you could do that. You could have two and you could dedicate one going one way, one going the other, and vice versa. They could be either or because that's a full transceiver. So I'm willing to bet you probably could. Now, here's where the bottleneck might be is because it's I squared C, you can only really talk to one of those modules at a time. Okay.
Still, compared to the old TNCs, 1200 baud stuff and everything like that, or even 9600 baud.
Yeah.
We're talking, I mean, basically, we could do an inexpensive microwave system on
Yes.
the UHF bands.
And in fact, this module, I've got some of these modules back here. They're 900. So I can swap this there pin for pin. So I can pull this UHF and put the 900 in its place and run these things on 900 if I want.
I haven't caught up on zero retries lately. Maybe Steve's already been mentioning this stuff with your.
Steve's not real happy with me right now, so I don't think so.
Okay, I haven't talked to Steve in a while, so.
He's not real happy with me. But we won't talk about that right now. But anyway, so that's some of the stuff I've been working on in addition.
I like this because this can be modular enough that we can start to go and upgrade the backbone links on some of these packet sites. And, because up here in New York where we got all the trees and the mountains and everything like that, the lower bands, 900 is even tough up here. The UHF, there's a lot of old UHF links between these tower sites that this has got some serious possibilities. And that doesn't get us into the Vera FM and the Windows crap and all that stuff that we would be tied to. I mean, not that it's bad, but when you talk it, we can set it and forget it with some decent hardware to Hilltop and walk away from it. That's
and that you and I have had that conversation before. I'm a dedicated believer in hardware modems. I just believe in it. When it talks KISS and you just turn it on, where versus I don't have to run a software modem on a Windows box or whatever. I'm a big believer in this. That's why I still have a stack of KPC3s back here that I will take those any day over, a software modem, that sort of thing. And one of the things I'm thinking about doing is taking a couple of these and dropping them in our Tarpon node demo nodes that I have just to prove that I can have AX25 going back and forth on two of them, and then maybe having LoRa do a link, just to prove that this is a drop-in replacement. I can take this and drop it in the place of a Nino TNC, for example, and it will do the exact same
that's
thing.
kind of my point, that'll plug into node stacks very nicely.
Yep.
Well, that brings it up to the question I was about to ask Jason. As a two-parter, one node stack, and can these things be stacked?
Oh, yeah.
Between the different bands. So UHF 900. Okay.
Yep.
That's good because that eliminates a lot of throughput problems when you have cables and junk running around. But also, is there any thought to having a 220 version?
Well, that's if somebody like eByte, who makes this module, was to make a 220 version. So That's where your stop point is that are they willing to make a module that covers that band? Right now they're covering, obviously UHF 900. I think they're also making one that's maybe 1.2 gig. I don't remember. I'm gonna have to
That
check
would
on
be
that.
good.
Wow,
Yeah,
Well,
that would be kind of cool.
we might be losing that band too. So
Yeah, exactly. So real quick, I'm gonna just move my camera so I can show you. This is my little test setup I've got here. I know it's a real mess here. This is a Raspberry Pi 4 that's got my Raspberry Pi GPS that I designed, two of the Nino TNCs, and then one of our LoRa boards sitting on top. We call it the LoRa Pi. That's what we call this, and that is all running into Yak. So if anyone's familiar with Yak, that's the APRS client that runs on Java, or Java is what runs it. All that data is being aggregated into that single instance of Yak. So I've got
on the Pi.
yeah, on the Pi, exactly. And that's using all four USB ports because I've got GPS. It's feeding live GPS data into Yak. I got the two AX25 modems. One's doing 1200 baud on VHF, 9600 baud on UHF. And then I've got the LoRa Pi on top feeding LoRa data in and out. And that's what I've been testing that with. And I've had that thing running for a couple of months now like that. And it just all that data coming in and out. And Yak is kind of cool because you can set up multiple beacons. So I've got one beaconing on AX25 VHF, and it's beaconing on, and that's using my call sign with no SSID. And then with SSID-1, that's beaconing on the LoRa channel. So when I go to aprs.to, for example, you'll see my call sign at my house twice. One's no SSID and one's -1. If you click on each one, you'll see one says it's a Nino TNC, blah, blah, blah. And the other one says it's a LoRa Pi running on LoRa, on the UHF LoRa channel. So I'm running those concurrently on the same instance. So it's pretty cool.
So looking at your stack there, one of the things that just is popping into my head's spinning with all this stuff. You always do this. This is why I don't visit your website too much, because I get too many ideas and I get sidetracked. But we can do node stacks with the Raspberry Pi, with the Nino TNCs, with the LoRa module, and we don't have to get into the APRS. We can actually
No, I'm just doing that because that's near and dear to my heart.
I know that's, but I'm just thinking out loud with you here. There's node stacks right there. So go back to what you were doing with that power supply and your little edge adapter, so we can get the
Oh yeah,
Anderson
I forgot
power
to mention
poles and all.
that. There's
Yeah.
our switching power supply in there, so I'm feeding this whole thing 12 volts. I don't even have to mess around with, a 5-volt off-board 5-volt. There's our power supply that runs the Pi.
Question.
Go ahead.
Eventually, will this wind up into a plug and play package?
Yeah, I mean that's essentially what this is. That's what that modem in a 3D printed case.
Yeah, so
and that's what I intend to sell it with and without the case on the website. The case will be like $10.
So
I think we need
for
to
those
put-
people who would like to get into this business, that if the equipment is available plug and play, we probably can attract more people.
And that's what my business is based on. We try to produce products that you can plug in and just use and work.
Super.
So like for example, we use the USB-C on this, okay? Yep. I've standardized on that on pretty much all of our products. I've taken the USB-C to C cable, plugged it directly into my phone or my tablet. I happen to run Android. The phone or tablet powers this thing. Even with that 1-watt transceiver, it powers it.
Package.
And that's why I've sat there and did APRS over LoRa with this, just my phone, just.
And I think we need to get together, and I know that you do a lot with the APRS side, but I think it would be great to create a cookbook or a yellow covered book, how to build a packet node stack, tarpon or not, but
well,
I think
it's been on my back burner, but I'm planning on doing videos on a lot of this stuff. It's I'm still dealing with my father, moving him and selling his house. That's the only reason I haven't gotten any of this done recently.
Okay, that's.
But that's definitely in part of my plan is to get some really good instructional videos out there.
Because as much as the Mashtastic is attracting people that are interested in this, having a newer cookbook of how to build something and a stack like you've got right there would be very attractive. Is that what you're getting to, Don?
Yep, that's what I'm getting to. Yeah, if we can make it plug and play, you don't have to make up your own cables and plug
Exactly.
cabinets and all that stuff. Yes.
Exactly. That's why we standard on the mini DIN connector on the
Oh, yeah.
TNC, you know,
Yeah,
instead of the old DB9 Cantronics set, you know. That's plug and play with so many radios now.
And
You don't have to
Rusty,
think
I hope
about
you're
it.
paying attention here, Rusty, because I'm thinking this goes on the EastNet all across New York is where we'd start swapping links out on the backbone and everything.
Yeah, if we want to get younger people involved in it, we have to make it easy for them to get started. And they're accustomed to taking a cell phone and doing everything on the face of the earth with a cell phone.
Exactly.
So it's
And I
gotta
know
be-
that. I mean, I'm not exactly young. I'm 44, but my thing
Oh,
is
you're a young
I
guy.
I see the younger kids, you know, younger than me
Yep.
that yes, you're right. If you can put a phone or a tablet in their hands and show them how they can interface with that versus that's the difference. Like going back to APRS, if I can show them how to use APRS Droid connected to this modem over Bluetooth, they'll use it. But if I told them they had to sit in front of a Kenwood D710 with just a text display and they've got to go through the menus, screw it. They don't want to do that.
They want to
That's a
they want
fun
to
way.
Oh, I
they want-
love that. I've got two D710s
Yeah.
right here that they're gold to me, you know.
The younger generation now wants to use it, not build it. When I was growing up, I wanted to build it, not use it.
Well, I grew up wanting to do that too. But however, there are people out there that do that enjoy building stuff. They just don't have anyone showing them how to do it. So
Exactly.
that's part of it
Yes,
too, you know,
that's
being
true.
able to
Those are
put
the
the
two.
stuff in their hands.
Those
And
are
when
the
they
two
build
groups.
it and it works, their eyes light up. You know, they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh shit, I can't believe I just did that." And
Well,
it's
and
like,
I
yeah,
think that's where the Meshtastic took off for a lot of people.
it did. It did. And the prepper groups, and they loved how they didn't have to get licensed and all that. A lot
Oh
of that.
yeah, I mean the preppers they want to go under the radar, so I get
Yeah,
that.
exactly. And they don't want to get licensed or anything. I get it. I get what they're up to. It's not my thing, but whatever, you know.
Well, but
So,
when we can prove how much more range we can do on your UHF module, and
yeah.
I'm thinking if you could build a board with both a transmit and receive port, and we could, do full duplex on one board, that would be kind of cool. But we'll talk.
Let me talk to Remy because Remy wrote the firmware to make all that work, you know. And let me talk to him and see what he thinks about.
Well, and the reason I want to, I like to do that. So you've got your power limits and your max EIRP because we can do this even in the unlicensed band. But guess what? You can make up a big power budget by putting the receive antenna on a separate port and more gain, and you can make your budgets up by using higher gain antenna just on the receive on both ends.
Right.
And that really ramps up the EIRP, and you just can't transmit it through it. So
All right,
two antenna ports gives you the flexibility of that.
Brian,
Good.
Brian, at 8 o'clock, I got to step away for 5 minutes.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to
That's fine.
dominate here.
No, this is great. This is
I
great.
got an ecom net at 8 o'clock, so I just got to step away for 5 minutes and then I'll be back.
Okay, Don,
All
we
right.
got you. Go ahead, Charles.
Jason, let me put a bug in your ear on this one.
Sure.
You remember the announcement back in June that Alens came out with the H1 DMR dual band radio?
Yes.
Okay. One of the interesting features of that, when I was digging around their Chinese website, was that it could be set up as a simplex DMR using both time slots to act as a portable repeater.
Yeah.
Have you thought about something like that? That maybe we can do that transmit and receive that Brian was just talking about.
So I have a big commercial background. I'm a former Motorola employee, and I've played a lot with P25 and DMR. One of the downsides to DMR is that, like you said, when you don't have a timing source, i.e., the repeater or whatever, you're kind of forced to use both time slots. Well, in a case where it's a dedicated data link like that, that may not be such a big, bad idea, or may not be such a bad thing. And one of the things I've played with a little bit with it is, and I don't know if you've had experience with this, at least on the Motorola side of the DMR radios, when you plug those in via USB, normally you do that to program it, but when you plug it in, it also creates an Ethernet device. And you can actually assign IPs to every device, and now you're doing Ethernet over DMR. So in theory, you could use it to do that and actually create almost like a Brian mentioned, not microwave, obviously, because the frequency is too low to be considered microwave, but it could be a high-speed data link that's actually doing IP traffic versus like with an old MUX or something.
Right, right.
So
That's
there's
certainly,
that.
yeah, we'll put that into the mix, Brian. That could be really
Yeah,
interesting.
if you go digital, you can multiplex up. But the thing that I'm talking about, and I dealt with this, and going back to the TV white spaces rule when they were looking at low power devices and into a 0 dBi antenna, you could make your power budget more by having a receive antenna separate port, so you're not transmitting through it. So you're actually transmitting and receiving on two different ports. That lowers a lot of latency. You don't have the packet collisions because you got to wait to listen and all that stuff. Full duplex and point-to-point links, even though it might be a narrow channel width, you can get a lot more throughput because you can transmit and receive and not have to wait for ACKs and things so fast or so much. So there's advantages in that realm as well. So, and again, you can receive on a different antenna. When you separate the antennas, you can play with the gains and the design of the network. But the problem is that so many people are just stuck in the Wi-Fi, the one antenna, one port, half duplex. They forget about the old days of when we had separate transmit and receive and separate transmit and receive antennas. So I always like to rekindle that thought process because it gets the juices flowing in ways that people didn't think about in the past. So that's just food for thought in there, Jason.
Yeah, I think that's a viable thing. I want to talk to Remy about that because I was even sitting here thinking like, yeah, there's a hardware I squared C port on that thing, but we can emulate I squared C on two other pins and essentially be able to talk to both modules simultaneously. But I got to talk to him and see. The nice thing about the ESP32 is it actually has two cores. So you can technically have one core doing one thing and one doing another. I don't know if that's, something that can be done here to speed that up, but that is a possibility. Yeah, I think so.
Well, the interesting thing is too is that if I'm assuming that this module is UHF because it does the 433 unlicensed stuff.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
In other countries. Well,
Yeah.
so now you can stay within the power limits of that if you don't have a ham license.
Right.
And to the, whether it's a 1 dB or whatever antenna that you're allowed to do legally. Okay, well then have the other port, the receive port, you can put on a big honking Yagi and make up 20 dB of power margin. Just don't transmit through it.
Yeah, right. Right.
No, that's my point. That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. You can make up a power budget and all right, Ron, thanks for stopping, buddy.
Yeah, I actually have to follow Ron here in a minute too. I am on that same meeting.
Yeah, aren't you the president?
No, I'm one of the VPs now.
Okay.
And of course on the board. So
But thank you for coming in, and we're gonna have to sync up now that I'm through my busy season. I've got more time you'll have to sit and talk.
I want to I would love to do a big eyeball to eyeball meeting with everybody, that's interested in this stuff, get together, and that would be so much fun. I know
We'd have
that's
to
easier said than done.
dedicate a weekend to it because
Yeah, absolutely.
my brain's already cooking like.
We can find somewhere central East Coast and we all just kind of.
Yeah, there's this Cracker Barrel that's right near the HRO in Delaware. I hear they're going back to the old design.
Yeah, but it's funny you say that because every Saturday here locally we do a digital breakfast at Cracker Barrel right near us here. So that's every Saturday we do that. It's all
maybe we can talk to HRO, get everybody there, and if they've got in your room, we could have a meeting. And
there you go. We bring in pizzas or whatever. Okay, I'm up for that. If anyone's up for that, because I used to live not far from there when I lived on the Virginia Eastern Shore, so I used to go up in Delaware all the time. It's tax free.
Marble Peninsula, I love it down there. Used
Yeah.
to come from here, go straight down 13 across the Chesapeake Bay Bridge and Tunnel, go to Norfolk. I know.
You went right past my house then.
Yep.
Okay. Anyways, I didn't mean to dominate, but I mean, I get excited when I start talking about this stuff.
This is a great technical. We love new technical stuff. So this is exciting. And on the heels of that, Sperry, because he already threw you under the bus talking about what you've been doing.
No. Sperry's my absolute best what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, Sperry's been right there with me through in the trenches on this stuff. I mean, God
Your
bless him.
motivator, that's good. Well, let's go to Sperry because you can dovetail on that because Jason's going to have to go to his board
Okay.
meeting.
All
So,
right.
Jason,
Yeah. I don't have as much to say as Jason does, but
Oh, that's not true. This is a brilliant man, everybody. Don't let him trick you.
no. I'm pretty old school. I was building 2 meter antennas, but here a couple months ago, and beams for one of our links. But yeah, we're playing G8 BPQ nodes. We've got one running on Linux for the Tarpon side, and one running on Windows for the HF forwarding side, and about 6 neighbors were connected. Tarpon 4800 baud and 1200, so not real fast, but also playing with Vara. In fact, Jason doesn't know, but I put one of the Tate radios at the Chesapeake Public Safety Center yesterday. It's up at 200 foot running Vara FM, and it covers the whole Tidewater area. I was surprised. It works better
That's
than the
awesome.
2 meter frequency that's there. But the WinLink guys are using Vara, and I'm trying to convert some of them to say there's more to Vara than just WinLink.
So is your Vara is it Vara FM? So it's the wider.
Yes, Vara FM.
Do you have any throughput numbers on that you've been able to push through it?
I did some testing. Yeah, when was that? About a month ago, when Hurricane Aaron was in, and we transferred one of the graphics, the 5-day forecast graphic path, 37K file in about 90 seconds. I don't remember what speed it was at, but that was tried it on both Vara wide and Vara narrow, and there wasn't a big difference.
Boy, if any of you guys can do some iPerf testing or something like that, that would be cool I really would love to see all these different things, especially your UHF module, Jason, the Vara FM and all that stuff. We really need to get some consistent iPerf testing. Guys just saying it's so much faster than HF. Yeah, well, that's a 3 kilohertz channel. We've got to get, I'd like to see what a 25 kilohertz channel is doing since we've still got them. We didn't have to go to 12.5 kilohertz wide because that's realistic to do UHF 220 links, everything all over the place that we don't have to have, not to bash the Arden stuff, but that's all line of sight microwave shots. And if we can bridge those networks, I'd like to know what speed we can do between those networks. And this goes into Tarpon, and this goes into TPRFN. The problem with the VRFM obviously is the licensing and Windows nature of it. But still, we can deal with that if it's a marketably improved throughput that we can use as a backbone between networks that still keeps us on RF. So again, as you guys are playing and doing stuff, some sort of iPerf testing, Jason, you can probably code that up pretty quick in one of these Raspberry Pis. And our Sperry, I don't know if you're a bit basher in Linux too, so any of you are going to do that. But I've never seen anybody put a chart together that says, hey, AX25 this, APRS this, connected packet this, 9600 baud. All right, that same bandwidth. I saw Steve Stroh mention it in some of the articles in Zero Retries a couple weeks ago that some of the numbers were looking good, but I glanced at the article. But man, if we can make 25 kilohertz channels and 9600 baud on 12.5 kilohertz radios without having to do much modification, getting discriminator audio, then we can make other cookbooks to really make a wide area RF network that's got some amazing throughput. So
I'm trying to find it. Of course I can't find it now. Somebody is trying to develop a Vara-like protocol that they are saying from the beginning it's going to be open.
Yeah.
And I can't find it now. And I really believe that could really take off just simply because they're going to open it up, because then we can make a Vara KISS modem, which is what I wanted to do with Vara in the first place.
Yes.
But of course those guys, they declined and they weren't very nice about it. And and like do you want your protocol to get used? Well, let us build hardware for it, but they won't. They won't let us. So
Well, with one of the other things that you and I have talked about this in the past, Jason, is that if we can also make a cookbook of how to use the the Motorola radios, using the 20 pin connector, using the Tate radios, so that you don't have to do any discriminator modifications for them because you
Right.
get them on the pins. I'm sure you're already making cables and boards to do this. So we can buy stuff off the shelf basically. Yes, I know you do. I've got some. Been so nice to send me some, and I just haven't had the time. But because I'm looking at Brian Pasternak, I'm thinking about the Lakehurst node that's up on the terminal on the Navy base. We take a couple Motorola CDMs, we can probably bridge that over to Philly and down to Brian and have some good 9600 of our FM links that are pushing some pretty good throughput. Nothing like we've ever seen on terrestrial VH, or 6 meter and above packet before. But as Don mentioned, we need to have the cookbooks to show people step by step, yellow covered guides how to build these things. So Sperry, this is exciting that you've got a Vera FM channel that's covering the whole Tidewater Peninsula and everything. And then
Yeah, we're going to see what we can do with it.
Now
we've already
is
had-
that a dynamic protocol so that it'll manage more than will it deal with point to multi-point connectivity or not?
No, I don't think so.
It's just one
But
connection.
we're still testing to see what we can do with it.
That's the next holy grail. The user port at some high speed with firmware on the node that does the dynamic polling of the user so that we don't have the hidden transmitter syndrome. That's the next thing we've got to crack. Once we do that, and maybe you're doing it with the LoRa, Jason, but we've got to have the smarts in the node because everybody's not living within earshot of each other to carrier sense hold off. And we're getting packet collisions. So if we can get the smarts into something that we can get on these lower bands that we're allowed to, it would be wonderful on 6 meters, 220, obviously 2 meters, the 440. Now we just put, especially if it's a Raspberry Pi firmware load into some module, hat module that's got the dynamic control, then packet will take off like gangbusters. That's the holy grail.
Now, granted, it's only got 8 user slots, but NPR, New Packet Radio, does polling.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I got 4 of the NPR modems right here that I bought a couple years ago with the thought that, there would be some real potential there, but they're cool and all, but I don't know. There's a little more to be
that's a little rough around the edges from what I understand.
Yeah, they are.
Also, an issue that was brought up to me when I talk about this is that, we're only limited to so much bandwidth in the United States on UHF until the FCC changes it.
Get caught.
Well, my answer to that is you can go to the highest speed that these devices do, just shift it down to the amateur television channels where they have already changed over from analog to digital.
Right.
So you just have a digital stream, maximum whatever that highest speed can do. And the question then popped up, well, you're supposed to be sending a picture on that channel. I said, okay, fine. So transmit a JPEG file once in a while. What's the big deal?
Well, and the thing is that if we've got the protocol that can do it, it's easier to help force the changes at the FCC as well.
Mm-hmm.
But, because 6 meters is now underutilized. There was somebody who actually got an STA license from the FCC to do ham radio stuff on the VHF 46 megahertz channel.
40 megahertz. They're already doing tests like that in Europe, and the STA was issued to a couple of stations here in the States to see if they could talk across the ocean to each other.
But I mean, if we can make it so that it can easily become bandwidth or band agnostic once the rules are changed, but still, what you're talking about with the NPR, and it's also available in FlexNet. It's called DAMA, the DAMA protocol, and that basically. But the problem is the DAMA base station is always transmitting, and so now you've got to have a continuous duty transmitter. That's problematic for a lot of cheap ham stuff. But but you take like the DAMA protocol and you make it so that everybody's got a time slot or permission to transmit so that they're not clobbering anybody else's stuff that they can't hear. If we do some sort of dynamic polling, which is what DAMA does, that's the thing that we've got to crack next, but we've got to crack it without having to have the nodes be a constant duty transmit, because the utilization of the data nature, you're not going to need full-time transmit, and that's going to create a spectrum scarcity. When we were used to do the networks when I was working at Earthlink, yeah, you would have a spike in the noise floor, but you had to look at the duty cycle. Because if it's, a high spike in a noise floor, but it's only 0.1% duty cycle, well, all right, so you do a resend on that if you happen to collide with something. But if you were a constant duty transmitter doing a dynamic polling algorithm, then nobody else is going to use that channel. So that's not very ham friendly. So I'm just Sperry, Jason, just kind of think about that. And maybe you're doing it. You've got the ability to do it with you can talk to Remy about it, but that's what we need now. That's going to make ham radio go into data modes, is when we've got smart nodes. So we can eliminate the HTS problem. There, I'm off my soapbox on that one. But Sperry, you got anything else you want to talk about?
My other project, I put in a downlink, a satellite downlink for the GOES 19 or GOES East satellite, which is kind of interesting. That 30,000 text files per day. And
Andrew
all the,
K1YMI built one as well at his house, and we've
yeah,
got it on the Arden mesh. Man, that pumps out data, boy. Woo.
yes, it really does. That go along with all the high res graphics with it too. But yeah, that's been an interesting project, and push some of the hurricane stuff for Aaron out on the East Coast BBSs.
Did
Hopefully, I
you
wasn't spamming people too bad.
who had the little magnetic mount antenna um that was surplus from something else? I saw that mentioned in somebody's article a while ago, so that you didn't have to do the barbecue grid dish. And I'm wondering if anybody's done that and if they found any source of them, because I've got a mobile comms trailer that I would like to buy one for that would be easier to do than the barbecue grid dish antenna.
Well, I put the barbecue grid dish on antenna on the roof, and yeah, it's working out pretty well. Configured a Linux box to receive it using sat dump and
Yep.
some of the other tools, and wrote some scripts to see every time a file got written to the hard drive, see what it was, and if it's something that came out of the Wakefield office or had their stamp on it, I would grab it, and along with the hurricane stuff. So that's what I've been working on, learning a little
Awesome.
bit of Python while I'm at it.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. It'd be good to get out on the EastNet list with some of your projects and just spur some people's interest and stuff. You got anything else, Barry?
Nope, that's it from Virginia Beach.
Okay, well, I'm going to slide up the coast a little bit. Brian Pasternak, KA3 VSP. Let's talk to you because it's kind of related, right? You guys are kind of neighbors. And what have you thought about what Jason and everybody's talking about so far?
Yeah, I've looked at all that in the past. My issue right now is terrain.
Sites,
I'm working. I'm sorry.
sites, so that you can overcome it.
Right.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on a site in North Wilmington right now to get me on top of a ridge. There's a couple of things that need to happen before I can do that. And I'm hoping to get an RF connection into Chester County and up to Delaware County, the other node
Mhm.
in Aston, Delaware County, Aston, PA, Delaware County. And other than that, not much has been happening here. I've been doing a lot of traveling for work, and so I really haven't been doing anything. I was supposed to be at the Hamfest in Gloucester, New Jersey on Sunday. My wife is laughing at me. Um, I went over there, got half set up for my packet demonstration, and I forgot my laptop. So I had to turn around and come back. And by the time I would get back on there on site, the Hamfest would have been wrapping up. But I was disappointed about that. So still working on RF links to build the RF network. I'm having a hard time getting interest here in Delaware. I don't want to really comment on why that would be, but uh, packet talks here in Delaware. I get interest, but then there's a group right behind me pushing me out of the way. So um, disappointed in that, but still trying my best to keep promoting the network
Well,
and keep building.
well, I
Excuse
think.
me, Brian.
Go ahead, Don.
I got a when I came back, I got a message in the middle of my screen says, uh, Jason is requesting you to allow multiple presenters. I've never seen that before. Do I just
Well,
say
that's
yes?
yeah. Just Jason, I'm assuming that you had somebody else want, or you got more than one computer logged in.
No, I only have one computer, and all I was offering was to just share my screen because Sperry was talking about the map down here, and I had the map pulled up where I could show what he was talking about, but
Oh,
we don't have to worry about it.
this is the first time I see this, Jay. It says, is requesting you to allow multiple presenters to share.
Well, basically, it means somebody other than you can share. But that's
All
and
right, I'll hit allow and see. But there,
yeah. So
there
if
it is.
anybody needs to present, we'll be able to. Okay.
Whatever I did.
Thanks.
Sorry for that interruption. I just didn't want to make a mistake.
No. So Brian, and speaking to your comments, is if any of those, yeah, now you've got your map coming up, Jason. I see it coming up. One of the thoughts is any of those sites are, and this also goes for Glenn, that if you're talking to anybody, if we think we might be able to make a path to Lakehurst, New Jersey, then we can start getting RF work and we can get that resurrected. There used to be a link from Lakehurst to Burlington County, New Jersey, which is obviously just across the river from Philly. So there used to be a link there. So at some point it was possible. I think it might have been on 220, but it might have been on UHF too. I'd have to go back and look at the old maps. And I'm sure as I'm saying this, Charles is pulling up his old packet maps and he'll come in and comment about it in a couple of minutes after he finds the information. But
Brian,
yes, sir.
has anybody been able to confirm that Lakehurst is actually, in fact, on the air?
No, because somebody who's got a high site that might be able to hear that 220s hasn't been up to his node in a while. So, and I haven't seen him on tonight, but no, nobody's confirmed it. It was supposed to be turned on and on the air, but there wasn't anybody on the frequency who could hear it that was close enough or had enough elevation to confirm it. So the answer is no, but it's not that they aren't willing. It's still limited access, but it's not impossible. It just takes time.
Well, if there's nobody up there, well, then trying to get a path there is almost moot.
No, there's equipment up there because Pat WB3CMF sent a computer down to them. It's only 2 ports right now, but at one time there was 4 ports on the hangar, and the antennas apparently are still on there. And I think there's radios and TNCs, just not a computer that's got enough ports. So
but if there's nothing on the air, I mean, how can you get a link to something that's not on the air?
there's supposed to be a 220 port running there now, and the 2 meter port had to be resurrected. WB2 BSA, crap, his name just slipped my brain right now. He bought a 2 meter antenna to replace the one that went bad. Chris, there we go. Thank you, Charles. Chris bought them a 2 meter antenna, had it shipped to him. I don't know if they've gotten up but we know that there's supposed to be a 2 meter port, user port, and a 220 radio. But since they've powered it back up and everything, we haven't had anybody around that could get on the air to hear it and verify that it's working. Or that
Well, how about somebody just driving there and, just in the vicinity and putting a radio on, turn the radio on, see what
if
he hears.
somebody could do that, that would be fantastic. I would love that.
I mean, Brian, that might be something you could do. Brian Pasternak.
Yeah, it's a little bit away, but I could probably do it this weekend. Do we know the 220 frequency?
It's going to be one of three. There was three frequencies. Charles, I know you've got them right there in front of you. Rip them off.
223480.
Okay.
Three frequencies you want to listen for. Reel them all off there, Charles.
Yeah,
Who knows?
223480 is the central New Jersey 220 frequency. All right. As you go further north, the northeastern New Jersey is 223680.
Okay.
What's the third frequency? There was a third frequency.
Yeah, 580. I believe that's northwest New Jersey.
Yeah, 480, 580, and 680. 223,
Right.
480, 580, and 680. Those are the packet frequencies that, because who knows if a radio didn't get bumped off to a different frequency, but it would likely be on one of those three frequencies. I think when they powered it back up and put the computer that Pat gave them, that they were going to be on the northern New Jersey frequency, but we can't, nobody's confirmed that. Chris didn't get up to his node to put a working port on it that we could, because there's supposed to be a path between the Schooley Mountain and Lakehurst, so that should work. But Chris never got anything up there running because he was using USB to serial adapters, and he was using his Flex 32 stuff that I was never convinced he got it running properly. So we don't have any hard confirmation on that yet. So if any of you, if Mark, if you're going to be anywhere near there, or Brian, if you can get up there and just start listening for packet bursts on those frequencies, and then if you're able to decode and see what the call sign is, that would be a huge help. And
Yeah,
the
yeah.
two, yeah, go ahead.
I can do that. And I have a proposal to a club in Jersey to host a packet node. I have two packet nodes ready to go, BBQ nodes that have a 2-meter, 220, and 440 stack radios with TNCs. So they've been sitting here for a while, and I've approached one club in Jersey that might put a link between us and Lakehurst, and but I have not heard back from that proposal. So I was going to touch base with them this weekend to see if they want a presentation or anything.
Okay, if you do hear something on those, odds are they're going to be running FlexNet. And so you might try to connect to it, and you'll probably get a busy from that call sign, because if you're not in the backbone link call sign list, it's not going to reject you to keep the, but that'll tell us it's working, because if it gives you a busy signal or a busy message, that means you exchanged a handshake packet. So yeah, we can get back in and we can work around that issue once we have places that we think we can link between each other. That would be wonderful. Mark, does that kind of answer your ideas? You're muted, Mark.
Yeah. Okay. I just noticed that. Yeah. I mean, it's wonderful to say, well, the equipment is there. Oh yeah, they were supposed to turn it on. What's the real story? Okay. Nobody knows. We've been hearing We've been hearing the same story for 2 years now, that he dropped off equipment, and it's there. It's got to be plugged in. Oh, maybe they have to get up to the roof. What's the real deal here?
The last story that I have is that, number one, they had a power issue up there. Again, this is in the Navy building, so they don't always have unfettered access to climb up there. It's a manual climb up there, and it's all old guys like half of us. So, you got to hump that stuff up all the way up to the top of the hangar, and then walk all the way down the length of the hangar and stuff like that. But the last I knew, the computer was put up, the 220 was powered up with a working antenna, the 2-meter was powered up, but the antenna was bad. Chris sent an antenna down, and I don't think that antenna got replaced on the 2-meter port. But that shouldn't preclude the 220 from still working. But again, nobody from the field has been on the 220 frequency close enough to know, is it working, and they're just not got a good path or whatever. So yes, that's a good good point to bring up, Mark, and that's what we don't know the answer to yet.
And I'll
So
also reach out to Chris to see if he has any input, any updates.
I can put you in touch with the guy from the club there at Lakehurst as well. I'll have to go dig up his contact information. And that might help that you contact him directly. Chris may not be the best intermediary because he's so busy.
Okay.
Chris just joined the club and wanted to, because he wants Schooley Mountain to link to that, but he's not down there. He's not active. He's up in northern New Jersey. He's a busy man, and he doesn't always even get on these calls because he can't see him. And I'm not saying disparagingly, but he's got a busy schedule. So, but I will get you the contact information. I've got it on a slip of paper here somewhere. It's on that table right behind me. The gentleman's name, his call sign, phone number stuff. So, Brian, send me a personal message, radiowebs@gmail or whatever, and I'll get you that information. And yeah, let's try to make that connection. And Mark, that's a good point. That let's get the ball moving on this with some people that have the bandwidth to try to tackle this problem. I'm all for that, and I'm way too far away up here in Cooperstown to get all the way down there for that. And I know the distance because I used to drive down there for the Navy too.
Yeah, Brian, sort of connected to that. Have you heard any updates on W2LI or WA2SNA in northeastern New Jersey? What's going on with those projects?
Nope, we haven't. That's the same Chris no bandwidth problem.
Okay.
And I don't see, oh yeah, Pat is here. Pat, you've probably got that information about Lakehurst right there, don't you?
I haven't spoken to anybody in Lakehurst for, it's got to be over 6 months now. And the last was what you heard was that they had power issues up there. But I never heard anything back from anybody
Do
as
you
to
have
whether,
that? What was the guy's name? Wasn't it John or something like that? And I want to say it was a TPN call, but
yeah, I have it somewhere. It wasn't John, but
yeah,
I have his information somewhere.
all right, because you put the computer together and sent it down to him, right?
Yes. Yeah, that was almost 3 years ago. It was probably longer than that.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Well, Brian, if you're going to be able to get up there and see if we've got any activity or something like that, then we'll get you the contact information. And I'd like to get some confirmation or denial that something isn't working where I have confidence that somebody actually tried, because the only other way was through Chris, was through a Schooley Mountain site. And I was never convinced when I logged in his node that those USB serial ports were talking to the right radio on the right TNC. So I've never got a warm fuzzy out of that. So you could help us run that problem to ground. That would be awesome, Brian.
Okay, I might
If
be
you
able to
need-
swing by there tomorrow. I'm up at Jersey City tomorrow. And if I don't get there tomorrow, it'll probably be Sunday.
If you need
And I'll let you
information,
know.
Wow, that's awesome. That's
I'll
good
let
customer
you know what I
service.
find.
if you need information on it, you can go back in the recordings. It'll have all the conversations we had about that.
Yeah, no,
They're on the
I
website.
know where it is. Pat's got it. I've got it. We'll get it to Brian.
Yeah.
And
Because they're on the website, I believe.
yeah,
His
but the
name
late
was Jim.
Yeah, Jim. Yeah.
Jim
I bet
Comcast.
I can almost put my hands on it.
Okay, folks, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to go. I have to get to bed. Like I said, I'm in Jersey City tomorrow and I have to leave early.
Well,
So
thank you so
you guys
much,
have
Brian. Thank you.
thank you for having the meeting, and I'll let you know what I find out.
We need to get the DPN link to the EastNet on
In the
our.
chat.
Awesome.
Okay, thanks everybody. Have a good night.
You too. All right. Who else do we want to ask to talk next? Ray, W6RAY. Good evening. Welcome. Hello. Do an introduction.
Good afternoon. Sun's still shining here in California. So just thought I'd listen in today.
Good. Welcome. Yeah, obviously, we're trying to reinvent Packet here, and we're trying to get RF networks back up and running, obviously. And
just 1 second. Can I ask you to put your name, call, city, and state in the chat for me?
Sure.
I don't see
No problem.
And a zip code.
All right.
Thanks.
so talk to us about your interest in the packet, Ray, and are you on one of the links on the NetROM list that we've got links? Do you have one of the link sites? I haven't looked at the node list in so long that
Yeah, I think so.
yeah, it's probably a link to Charles or something.
Yep.
Yes, yeah, that's what you're talking about. Yeah, Charles. Yes. Thank you, Charles.
Ray and I have been linked for what, 15 years now?
I was gonna say I knew it was familiar. I just hadn't
Something like that. Yeah.
I hadn't looked at the nodes list in so long that I get it.
Yeah. Our repeater site is about 37 miles from here. There's about a 7,200 foot elevation difference as well. So we talk a long ways.
Yeah.
It's up in the Sierras.
You don't need to have to deal with these trees like we do on the East Coast, right?
No, because the mountaintop is actually well, it's cleared out at the front because the National Park Service. There's a Verizon tower up there, fire lookout tower up there. It's right on the border of the Sequoia National Forest and Kings Canyon National Park. So yeah, it talks quite a ways. And earlier this summer, the 4th of July holiday, I installed a 6-meter link, so we can get it RF going up to closest one is in the Bay Area, but it's just a little bit over a hill. So I do hear the call on the 2-meter. Can't think of it.
Is there anything on Mount Diablo that you can get then if you're doing the Bay Area?
Not on 6 meters. I don't see them. We're on a different frequency on 2 meters.
Gotcha.
But I do have some users that check in from the Central Coast. Black Mountain is over near San Luis Obispo, near Pismo Beach, in that area. So it's got a couple guys there. So yeah, I've been doing packet for a while.
Well, hopefully we'll start to get some new exciting packet hardware stuff. Obviously, Jason has been doing some interesting stuff, and are you subscribed to the Zero Retries newsletter, Ray?
Honestly, I don't know if I am.
Okay. It's free.
I guess I've got so many.
Friday, right?
Pardon?
It comes out every Friday. It's Steve Stroh. He puts it out. He's doing it for about 3 years now. And it's a free subscription. I highly recommend that. He's got all the cool data kind of information that you don't see in regular ham radio mags. So it's interesting. And so
yeah, we also have a microwave link from here up there on 5.8 gigahertz.
Yep.
And that's how we're getting the connection to the VARA HF that's coming from here at the house. So the system's actually split up in 2 sections.
Good.
Oh, yeah. And pardon?
Anything else?
Nope, that's it. And I'm going to try to get the information that was requested. It's kind of hard for me to multitask.
No problem. Yeah, just take your time. Put it. We just try to. He as secretary duties. It's good to be in the chat with that, so we can refer to it later.
Yeah, I'm not the secretary of the club anymore. I'm actually the current president. So
no, but Don is the one trying to keep track of everybody so that it gets in our documentation. So it's his Zoom account, and he logs all this stuff. That's why I asked you to put it in the chat. So
okay, and real quick, if I forget anything, ask him just to just to ask me in the chat. I've got it up.
Okay, great.
All right. Thanks.
Name, call sign, state, city, and zip code.
Okay, copy. Thanks.
And on his mention of Vera F or Vera HF, I would like to ask Glenn to have a few words and talk about TPRFN and updates and changes and all that stuff. And any comments you've got about what we've gone over so far tonight.
Hi, good evening. It's good to see you, Brian. And let everybody. I don't have a whole ton right now. It's been a busy summer for me, and but the the network is doing very well. I had I just happened to look at the stats tonight, and I'm up to 197 connections already this month in and out on HF, and I looked at Lee's station up in Wisconsin, and he's about the same. So there's a good bit of traffic moving. Happy about that. I was really happy this week. I got 3 new users logged into BPQ, and not just connected, but actually left information and filled out the form. So they 2 of them were HF and 1 was VHF. So that's working pretty good. Hang on a minute. I gotta head back towards the kitchen here a little bit because it's got a low battery warning here on the laptop.
Plug in, yep.
Yeah, I gotta plug in. So things are going good with it. We haven't had a lot of growth here lately. I'm going to try to tackle that this winter. Try and get some people working and try to close the gap going west out towards Ray in California and try to get. I'd really love to have a working RF path coast to coast. But here on the east, it's doing pretty well. We're just chugging along. So I don't think I have a whole lot. Oh, I know what I did. Let me turn the light on because it's pretty dark. Sorry about that. Anyhow, the local EPA, Eastern PA Aries Group, they reached out and they're actually going to use the network and the EPA group packet stuff for the fall set. So they're interested in seeing what packets
customers on the network. That's fantastic. Active customers on the network.
So I put all the statistics down and all the connections and how they can get in and how to move the traffic. And I'm actually hosting a Zoom meeting for the local guys here on Saturday morning before I leave for vacation to get them up and running. So it's been good to get, not so much about the TPRFN. It's really not about that. It's really about packet radio and getting guys up and running and getting them used to what's going on. And we're using Vera FM here. I have a Vera FM port, and we've played with it, and it's other than being it's only port to port. But the speeds on wide here, we've moving traffic across the network here in the county at we can get 23,000 bits per second out of it, and it'll move a file in seconds. So we built a Vera FM network here in Chester County, and we have full-time digipeaters now, all running commercial Motorola equipment, all tower mounted, that the county provided access for us, and it screams around the county. So I also added. They do a lot of WinLink there, obviously, but I got a full node support on that same frequency. If they can get into the BPS, they can do what they want to do using Vera FM. And
you're
basically, I've been getting.
You're telling
I'm
me
sorry.
A Vera FM channel, a 25 kilohertz channel, you're doing 22K throughput?
Yeah. Bits per second now. Yeah. In wide, you got to be on the 9600 side of the radio. In narrow, we get speeds around 11, so about half of that.
That's a 12
So
alerts channel.
yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Just that's VHF. So straight out of the box, a Linko with a master's communication sound card on it, and it just rocks. So everything else is going pretty good. I'm linked to Brian through on. I moved my frequency here. I'm not on 090 anymore. I'm on 070, and we have some pretty good links on and some good packet X25 stuff going on the frequency. So he and I with a digi, or we can, or actually there's a K node in between us, and we can use that and have a pretty good throughput. But there's a WinLink packet WinLink that's pretty busy there too, and we don't like to forward unless we can't make a link in another way. But it's a great backup. So, and Sperry's connecting to me all the time. We're pushing traffic, and I've been seeing some of his group down there been moving RMS messaging through to Sperry's board, and then it's coming up to mine, and then going out to WinLink. So that's good to see those guys, and that network that they're building down there is exactly the design they had in mind to support with our network and what we're doing, to have the groups doing whatever they're doing individually, having one or two stations be on the HF side and having that interconnection there. And that's a perfect example of how well it does work. So I'm not going to hold it up. I know Charles got some stuff to go over and it's getting late. So I think that's all I have.
Thanks, Glenn. Awesome. On that note, Charles, we're going to let you have the floor.
Yeah, Paul, YZC, we need to talk because we left some things hanging because you were bouncing around. Okay, I a couple of documents this afternoon, basically things that I've been working on this summer. Yeah, there's always something for me to do, I guess. The first thing that I started doing this summer was the voice over IP phone stuff with Mark and 2MH's help in getting the initial stuff going. All that came about because of Ham Shack Hotline with their announcement that they were just going to disappear at the end of the summer. And Brian and I talked on the phone. We came up with some ideas. And, well, we already got the Hamgate system working. Everything's tied together. Why not put voice over IP on top of that? So I had done Asterisk back in 2004, 2005 with NI2O. And we both worked for the same company. We used Asterisk in a commercial setting. So I basically had to reteach myself some of the things that I forgot for, the past 15, 20 years. But we got it going, little tweaks here and there. And the document that I sent out today is actually how do you dial between the Hamgate PBX extension that you have or will have. As you can see by the bottom of the page, those are the people who've already got their extensions on there. We have trunk lines going to the mesh network, mesh phone that Mark put together a bunch of years ago. We also have trunk lines into hams over IP, which sort of became the de facto new Ham Shack hotline. A lot of people moved over there. And the other one is Amateur Wire, which is a group out of the West Virginia, Kentucky area. Rather than be all things to all people, we decided that we're going to concentrate on voice. We're going to concentrate on making sure that we have the ability to have communications among the members throughout the EastNet footprint, especially up here in the Northeast, call areas 1, 2, and 3, and provide extensions for local county emergency management offices if we have a way of helping them out, either directly or through a ham radio group that would bring it in. Conference room capabilities, voicemail. in the back of my mind, I know at some point I'm probably going to get a question from one of these emergency managers. Hey, I want to do a video chat. Well, that's down the road. I haven't quite figured that out yet. But we've got the things up. We've got conference rooms set up. And why this? Well, it's not just the internet side. An old idea that I had from 20 years ago was to provide voice over IP over the air. So my vision was I'm sitting in a Red Cross shelter and we have no internet, we have no cell phones, and the shelter manager needs to call their office. Or we need to call the OAM office or something. So to be able to do voice over IP over UHF at a wider bandwidth, I can just hand them a SIP phone and say, here, call. Well, here we are 20 years later, and the technology is catching up to my idea. And as you heard tonight, between what Jason said and some of the other things that are going on, we have things on the precipice where we can do wider bandwidth and do voice communications. So that's why. That's the why we're doing it. How we're doing it, it's asterisk. It's a version 16. I cut my teeth on versions 1 and 2 many, many years ago. They just announced today that they're up to version 23, but I'm not going to push it. Let's just keep it stable, and it's working here. I'm not going to worry about all sorts of Java hooks and Python code and fancy connections to websites and artificial intelligence and things like that. No, we're just looking to keep things basic and working. So that's where we're going to keep it for now. The extension numbers are based upon your 44 net allocation. Like, for example, mine is 44, 68, 41 something. Okay, that's my subnet. So my extension is 6841. We don't need 44s, So it's going to be the 2 octets in the middle. Now, unfortunately, because, well, there can be up to 255 numbers in that octet, we had to loop around again. So 68s become 69s once we reach the dot 100. And then becomes 70 when we reach the dot 200s in the second octet. So that's why N2KGC is 7020, even though his allocation is 68.220, dot 200. And Andrew, he's got 68.180. So we had to make him 6980. But there's a logical fashion to it. And when laying out the extension numbers for all the county EMAs and the states and even the National Weather Service, and we've got a few things cooking on that side, so they can be part of the network and they call each other and have conferences and stuff like that. But the emergency management offices in states were based upon the 5-digit FIPS code. And for like 95, 99% of all the FIPS codes in our area, the middle digit is a 0. So we just strip the 0 out, mash the numbers together, and we have an extension number, and it works. It fits right into the band plan. So we have 2 counties, county emergency management offices that have their extensions programmed into their phones. And that's Shenango County and
in New York.
Yeah, sorry, New York. In New York State, we have Shenango County and Otsego. So there are 2 counties already that are being set up. I just got an email this afternoon from Dave, KC1UIX. He had to jump out for other nets and stuff that he's doing. He's got a contact for the National Weather Service office in Gray. It handles New Hampshire and Maine. So he gave me that contact information. He said they would really like to have something like this. And I also have an email into Macedo. What's his first name? I can't remember off the top of my head. He does the VoIP WeatherNet stuff out of the Boston area.
Rob.
Rob, that's it. I was thinking Ron, and my brain is saying, no, that's wrong. Okay, but Rob. So I got an email into him, And from what I understand from Dave, he is interested in stuff like this. And they had stuff working with Ham Shack Hotline, and they lost it when they went down. So my idea is to be able to have different people throughout our footprint call into the VoIP weather net in their conference room during hurricane activations and such. So, things will develop as we go along, but just basic voice communications.
Well, one of the nice things that, Charles and I did when the Ham Shack hotline went down, most people on the Ham Shack hotline, there's going to be a plethora of Cisco phones because that's what they reported, or that's what they supported for automatic provisioning. So there's a lot of those Cisco SIP phones out there. Mine, I programmed up the extension that used to be my Ham Shack hotline for this. Other than, once I figured it was a UDP, we programmed it up. It just worked right away. And you can program those phones via a web browser, so they're pretty easy to set up. So there's going to be a lot of people that might have gotten orphaned from Ham Shack Hotline that would be pretty easy to bring into the fold in this system. So, go ahead, Charles. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, no problem.
If I can add a piece here.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Mark N2MH. On the mesh phone side of this, we do have something called the white pages. And let me bring that up on the screen here if I can. Here we go. Can you see that?
Don, is he trying to do? Don, is he trying to do share presenting? Mark N2MH is trying to do that. Make him a presenter.
Oh, okay. Here we go. All right.
Hasn't come up yet, but Don's still working on it, looks like.
How about now?
Not yet.
I'm having a lot of cockpit error here, so let me just go back here. But anyhow, there is something called the white pages. It is a self-service thing, so anybody who has one of these AmperNet extensions can put himself in there. It is reachable over the 44 IP network, and I'll post what the URL is. It's web-based, okay? It's not character-based. It's web-based, and yes, web does work over the 44 IP network. So
awesome.
You can all put yourself in there and have yourself available to either anybody on AmperNet or through MeshNet. And this also gets picked up once in a while by the folks over at Hamsite over IP.
Mark, you should be able to share now.
Oh, okay. Let me. Okay, select window or screen. Entire screen. How about this? Is that anything?
Not
I
yet.
don't see it. I don't see it.
No. Okay. I'm having cockpit error right here. Okay. Let's just forget it.
There should be a button at the bottom of your screen that says share. You got to click on it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm clicking on it, and it brought up another window that says allow app.zoom.us to see your screen. And I have to select window or screen.
Do the window, and then you just pull that browser window up.
Not now. Let me try this over again. Share screen. Select window or screen. What's going on here? I don't know. I can't figure this out. All right, we'll skip it for now, and I'll try later on.
Okay.
But I just wanted to let people know.
Well, if you could put in the chat what the URL is that they would type to get there.
Yep, that's what I'm going to do right now.
Also, I know you just said that you have this available on 44net as web-based. Is there an access that people can get to it from the outside of 44net?
No, there is not.
Okay, so
you have to be on the network.
if somebody does not have the capability for web browsing on 44net, they can't see it.
Yeah, but they should be able to bring it up. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
network, it's IP.
I just double
But
checked.
no, I personally have no interest in making this available to the internet. I'm very happy to play IP on a private network, but not where the internet comes in and all the malcontents that are out there.
All right, now this is the link for people to update their information. Do you
Right,
have a
or actually
finished?
get who's on it.
All right, but do you have a finished white page that somebody could just view? That's not on the 44net webpage.
You can either view it from 44net or Arden Mesh Network.
Okay.
Okay, so the answer is no internet. And for my plans, there is no plans to do that. I don't want to give people out on the internet something else to play with and try to screw around with. You know.
I just checked the settings, and you should have access to share.
Okay, it's a cockpit era, and let me get this up here. I'm using a brand new program, brand new computer today, so I'm not quite okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just I'm typing.
Yeah, if you click on that share button, it should bring your screen up on our screen.
Okay. All right.
I got a message from Mark.
Okay. All right. Share screen. Select window or screen.
There it goes. There you go.
Now we see everything.
Okay. How about now?
There. All right.
Hey, success.
So if you're calling outside the network, your prefix code is 544. All right. Most people on Mesh Phone have a prefix which is their area code. So, for example, if you're on AmperNet on the Amper phone system, you want to call me. I am in area code 973, and my extension is 2111. So let's see. Well, let me just go up here. All right. I actually have a number of extensions. Okay. So this one here is my extension in New Jersey. This is my extension in North Carolina. And that's that. One of the other things it's on Mesh Phone is a number of weather stations, NOAA weather radio stations that you can actually call up and listen to. Okay, so we have maybe 20 of them in various states of usability. So like if you wanted to call up New York City weather, that's KWO 35. You get on the network, call 973-2167. That'll get you to 162.55.
Now, to speed dial that from the Hamgate PBX system, as I said in the documentation that I sent out today, you preface Mark's numbers with the number 77, and it'll speed dial you from Hamgate PBX directly into those numbers.
And one of the other things that we've been able to set up with these extensions here, with these numbers, is something called Piwix Rix, which is a software application that listens to the audio from these transmitters 24 hours a day, 24 by 7, and decodes the alert tones that come through when you have severe weather conditions. And they can be sent out as emails, they can be sent out on one link, and I have a number of them going out as BBS bulletins. And let's see. Here's a BBS, one that came through from Georgia a couple days ago about a severe thunderstorm warning. And these are what are called same codes, and this is the county involved. So these come out, they go out to, in fact, I could show you.
All we're seeing, Mark, is just, okay, yeah, there, we're only seeing that one tab, so just so you know.
Yeah. So this is what it would look like as a packet bulletin on BPQ. So if anybody's interested in this kind of stuff, get hold of me offline, and maybe we can set you up with the program. So anyhow, I didn't want to hijack your piece, Charles. So back to you.
Oh, no problem. You're just describing part of what I had sent out in the documentation. Is when
Okay.
you link into another system, what are you going to see? So, like you said, Mark is one of our trunk connections, and you could dial all those numbers that are on his system. You just got to preface it with the number 77. And I've got that in speed dial on my phone here. Whenever I want to get a weather report, I just speed dial it. Goes right in. The other two services that we have trunk connections to, I provided the websites for their phone books, so you can look up people on that you might know, especially if they were originally on Ham Shack Hotline. They're most likely on Hams over IP, and you'd have to find them over there. I've captured as much as I could from the different phone books and shoved it into a spreadsheet. So for my own use, I can at least look for people and figure out which system they're on and then just call that appropriately. So, like I said, we're not looking to be all things, especially all-star repeaters and stuff like that. Unless there's really, really a need for it, I don't see us going down that route. I would like to have some type of shortcut or interconnections with things like here in New York City, we use a private Zello channel for the past 10 years now. It's our off-air backup when we need to cover things during, activations or public service events, or when the repeater gets jammed when we're doing our nets. Oh, jammers? Yeah, we got them too. What I'd like to do is be able to tie in that Zello channel into a conference room. So still trying to figure out stuff with that. I understand there's somebody in England has already figured it out. And, once we get the hook, this is something else that becomes useful during times when we need to have it. So, once we get that figured out, we'll share that with everybody else so that you can possibly do something like that up in your counties to support your organizations. All right. If you need an extension, like I said, if you already have a 44 net allocation, the number's already been set aside for you in the spreadsheet. It's just a matter of when you want to do it, I'll forward you the credential information and password and all that, and you can set it up.
Oops, go ahead, Charles.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, just an update on Ham Shack Hotline. W2DAN, David, he has repurposed what Ham Shack Hotline was, and he's more or less made it a New England net. I think he's calling it New England Exchange or something like that now.
You mean 9X? 9X?
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing, Brian. I used to work for 9X.
But anyways, 9X, I haven't heard that in years.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to give you an update on that it's not totally gone, but he's reinvented it primarily for New England. However, I have seen other extensions. There's a couple out in California, someone down in Florida that's still in it, but maybe because they have connections back here, I don't know. But So, we still have that kicking around up here and using Cisco phones. So, but thanks for all the other info.
Charles, you might want to talk to them and
I
do
was about to
something them.
ask. I was about to ask Wayne if he can have Dan give me a buzz.
All right, I can do that.
This way, we'll work on a trunk line with him too.
And
Right.
Mark, your white pages aren't working here for won't connect to my through my ham gate, by the way.
You can't get to that URL?
Nope.
Can you ping it?
Two different routers. No, I didn't try to ping it yet. No.
If you can't, where does it stop?
It says connection refused. All right, well, let's see. Ping. My eyes are still not what they are, so let's see if I can type this the right way. Request timed out. Let me see if I'm connected again. Sometimes my MikroTik wants to disconnect me. And it did. Okay. My MikroTik and their Wi-Fi suck, by the way.
We'll do a tracer out to his 44 address and see where.
No, my damn computer won't stay connected to the Wi-Fi on my ham gate.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
And it's MikroTik because MikroTik doesn't like Windows and Wi-Fi. Because my Arden node gives me the same problem. There it is. Okay. I think I'm connected and then it disconnects. So that's the problem. So it's not your fault, Mark. It's probably on my side. I need to hardwire this computer in.
Is there a port number marked on that URL?
No, it's port 80, standard HTTP port.
Now it says I'm in. Let's see if I can ping that now.
All right. For those people who may be on Arden, there's the same URL, but in Arden terminology.
No, it still says I'm timed out. Let's see what it is on my Arden stuff.
It actually goes to the same machine, which has dual interfaces.
And my Arden I'm hardwired into, so well, let me see if we're not connected. So let's get that. Yeah, right now we're probably disconnected because it doesn't look like any of your nodes show up right now, Mark. Must be Matt's not connected today. I don't see Andrew either, so that's part of the problem as well.
For some reason I can't get to my own website. Oh.
Yep, my damn MikroTik won't stay connected. That's why. It needs to be hardwired.
Okay. Brian, when you get a chance, I got a couple things to talk about.
Okay. All right, what else you got, Charles? Anything else?
The other document I sent out was we revived the old NETA document from the mid '90s on bulletin flood fields, and Glenn and I and a few others were talking about this and how we can try to streamline it so that we didn't wind up with California bulletins showing up here on the East Coast and vice versa. So we came up with a scheme of, well, we'll leave the @WW alone because everybody uses that. We'll leave @NOAM and @USA. So going down levels from that, we're looking at wider areas, things having to do with hurricanes and stuff. So we did East Coast BBS, Gulf Coast BBS, and West Coast BBS. And then you've got the call area regions. So region 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. And then the individual states. And it's just a matter of filtering for them so that you keep on your system things that are destined for what area you're in. So Here in New York, we're East Coast, so we're ECBBS. We're also Region 2, so it's RN2 BBS, and we're in New York, so NYBBS. So all those bulletins, if somebody was to send them, should come here and be displayed on our system. And if there were any others, that they would be forwarded to the forwarding partner that can handle it and get it into the proper areas. So depending upon your BBS software package, it may have a different way of dealing with how to handle the flood bulletins. JNOS is very easy with the rewrite system. We do through all sorts of sorting schemes. BPQ, Glenn sent me a screenshot of how he would do it. And I just don't know how FBB, FlexNet, XRouter, how they would do it. So everybody would have to figure out for themselves how would they handle something coming in that belongs to them, and how would they handle things that may be coming in, and then forward that out to their forwarding partners that can handle it. So anybody that's got JNOS, like I'm already doing it on my system, so I can just do a copy and paste, and you can throw that into your rewrite file, and it just works. But as far as the other systems, you guys gonna have to talk to each other and figure out what makes sense to be able to do those things.
We really wanted to try to do this to take some of the traffic off of the HF network that was unnecessary, so that we're not, overtaxing or the band using up the bandwidth on the HF side. So it's working out pretty good. Sperry's kind of been our guinea pig with the whole thing, because he switched all his East Coast storm warning stuff. He switched it to East Coast BBS, and it's working very nicely. It comes to me, and I send it to all the stations just on the coast, so it works good, as it did many, many years ago.
What's old is new again. So if there are no questions on that, Brian, then I'll just turn it back so that Mark can go over what he's got.
Very good. All right, Mark, it's all up to you.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And the first thing I want to do is observe a period of silence for the thousands of people that lost their lives in 9/11 25 years ago today. Fortunately, I was in it and got out of it. If anyone wants to hear that story, I'll tell them.
Incredible that it's 25 years ago.
Actually,
Yep.
24. It's 2001.
2001? Well, I'm ahead of myself.
Yeah. Next year's the bigger remembrance party.
Yep.
We've got Tunnel to Towers run, which has been occurring since 2002. And we started off with 1,500 runners. We're now up to over 32,000 this year. We've become a miniature New York City marathon. What New York City Marathon was back in the late 90s. That's how big we are now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my son and I went down there and visited that underground museum. That's quite a thing.
Yeah.
I worked for the Port Authority for a while, and I saw that museum as it was being built. I had access to it. And then when Hurricane Sandy came along, it completely flooded the whole museum.
Mm-hmm.
You could see the high water mark. It was, halfway up the walls of the museum. Everything that was in there was flooded out. It was a shame. Okay, so here's what I got on my list tonight. For those ardent folks out there, I am in the process of upgrading my SuperNode, upgrading it from a HAP2 up to a PC version that's running in a virtual machine under Proxmox, and that's coming along very nicely. It's lengthy because I'm trying to keep connectivity to exist wherever I can, but it's difficult. It's taking a long time. So if anybody has problems connecting to me over the mesh, please be patient. It will resolve itself. Okay, the second one comes along because I'm kind of a weather radio DXer, and you know any kind of radio, broadcast radio that's out there has got a DX following, a DX community, right? So there is such an animal, and they do have a Slack group. It's actually part of the medium wave DX Slack group, but they call them WX DX. And a little background uh, over the past couple of months, the National Weather Service, at the urging of DOGE, Department of Governmental Efficiency, has been eliminating their landlines that connect the weather forecast offices to their transmitters. They want to save some money because those program lines, those lease lines, are terribly expensive these days. So what they've done, they've started a program to convert that over to IP and delivering it over wireless IP. So that they've been doing that over the past month or so, but problems have been cropping up, and let me show you what that is.
I'm hearing DX opportunities because they keep screwing up transmitters, and you get to hear other ones because they're off the air. Is that what's happening, Mark?
No. This one is more insidious.
Okay.
Okay. After they've been upgrading the various transmitter sites to use this wireless solution, wireless TCP/IP solution, a number of people have been noticing that the wireless alerts, the same alerts, have not been decoding. And if you listen to the audio closely, it sounds distorted.
Clipping the audio.
Okay, so turns out this is our old friend or old enemy, packet loss. And this is something that we went through on Arden 10 years ago already. And, it's just what happens. So this morning, yesterday, September 10th. All right, do you see this up on the screen?
Not yet. No.
No. Oh, I thought I did that. Okay.
Oh.
I got to hit the other button. Sorry.
No, wait a minute. I got to put you
Oh,
back
we
up.
got it. We can see it now. He's all set.
Oh, okay.
All right. So this is an official statement that the Weather Forecast Office in Birmingham, Alabama, put out about this, acknowledging the problem in their local area and mentioning that it's nationwide. So here we had bean counters providing a technical solution, and we know what the success rate of those solutions are. Well, this is where they actually acknowledge it. But they say, oh, you got all these other things too that you can use to hear. Well, that's besides the point. The whole point was that you wouldn't have to use it.
In the same breath, we experienced our weather transmitter because the phone companies are trying to get rid of their copper. They just tore out the tie line to our transmitter on the mountain, and then they ripped it out of the switch. They had no work order to do it, but all of a sudden, then we said, "Well, put it back on." And they're like, "Oh, we already threw the equipment away." So,
yeah.
But the other thing that might creep into this problem as well, we've noticed this when the two-way radio systems where they're still doing analog paging for fire, and when they have any of these IP links that are going analog to digital and then going back to analog over IP microwave backhauls and things, there are certain page tone groups that the codecs don't maintain the audio fidelity of the audio tones, and then the pagers wouldn't decode them. So you might be running into some situations of that as well, as that the codec is compressing the sound so much that its audio fidelity is not maintained, so the decoders can't decode because the codec is equalizing out some of the tones.
Yep. This is the old story of why when you run fax over VoIP,
Same problem.
The asterisk box or whatever it is actually mimics a fax machine back to the fax machine, decodes it, sends it as data to the other end, where it's regenerated as a fax and fax tones back to the receiving fax machine. This is no different than what's going on here. But you're absolutely right. If the codec isn't up to snuff, it's just going to chop it off, and all you have to do is lose a couple of bits, and you're gone. Your history. But I actually heard this to my own ears over the weekend. There was a storm that went through Highland, New York. Well, in upstate New York, what I call upstate New York, and they were sending out a bunch of severe thunderstorms.
Those were tornado warnings, weren't they? Didn't they get?
Yeah, and then there was a couple of tornado alerts that came through. I did not decode any of them, and I have that radio on the background most of the time here. Well, I heard the single tone alert come through, so okay, let me turn it up, see what the alert's all about. And as I'm listening to it, the single tone of that old style alert was breaking up, and it sounded just like packet loss to me that I've heard over the years. And then I realized, well, wait a minute, I'm listening to this directly off the air to a speaker on a radio. Why is that radio breaking up? So now we know why. Well, we have a good handle on it, but just so everybody knows, there are problems with decoding the same alerts over the air.
Do you have any information on the wireless IP that they're doing?
No, I have no information. I just have a picture somewhere of all the equipment staged in one central warehouse ready to be dispatched. That's about all I got. It looks like
some information.
It looks like they add a small cabinet or a small shelf to each location, put and stuff this stuff in it.
Yeah, but what spectrum are they using to do this? That's the question.
I don't know. I'm guessing they're using wireless. Regular cell phone type audio.
Oh, I do know they're doing cell phone stuff because that's what they're trying to put in our system to replace tie line.
Well, who else sells commercial wireless like that? That's ubiquitous.
Yeah. Well, that's when you said wireless, I'm like, did they build an RF network to push this TCP/IP? I'm like,
no.
It confused me. Sorry.
Now, my guess is that they're just using wireless that's out there.
I do know they are using cellular because that's what we're waiting for our unit to get shipped.
In fact, if you look closely at some of the Verizon ads, they will sell you fixed location internet, which is 5G wireless. So they'll put a wireless radio on your premises instead of Fios.
Yeah, T-Mobile's doing it too.
Yeah. Okay. My last piece. Again, this is kind of for ardent folks, but anybody else that may be interested in doing this. There's a chain out there called Micro Center that sells PCs. Okay. They have one here in North Jersey. I think they're out of Ohio, but they're in a lot of different places. I happened to be in my local one the other day to pick up a new PC to replace the one that I had that crapped out. And I saw that they were clearing a whole area of their floor. And I asked the salesman, well, what's going on here? He says, oh, we became a Ubiquity dealer direct. So they're going to have all kinds of Ubiquity equipment for sale as a direct dealer. So they won't have to go through any third party to get their stuff anymore. So if anybody is interested in Ubiquity equipment, pretty soon you'll be able to go to Micro Center.
That's a Robert Parra thing.
Uh-huh.
My partner worked for Robert Parra for about 6 months. The man's batshit crazy. He's a micromanager. The whole corporation micromanaged. So I don't put a lot of stock in Ubiquity. Only because I know the guy.
Apparently they do. If it makes money for them, that's why they do
Yeah,
it.
I mean, yeah, they're into security cameras and phones and all that stuff more than just what we're using on the Arden system and stuff like that. But he's an old Apple guy. Half of his time he's too busy worried about his basketball team. So,
But don't forget, you flash it with Arden firmware, it's now a ham radio rig.
say that again, Mark.
Don't forget that if you flash Ubiquity stuff with an Arden firmware, it now becomes ham radio.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I've
and
got-
may be good for some point-to-point links.
We've got a whole trailer full of stuff. I've got my buddies that are WISPs that when they decommission it, they ship it to me. So I know, we use it a lot.
Okay. Oh, good. All right, back to you, Brian.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Wow, we're 9:30, so of course we started late because I didn't realize we had the call tonight. Anybody else got anything they want to bring? Otherwise, I'm sure everybody's itching to go do their other stuff in life.
I have just a quick question, please.
Go ahead, Rusty.
I have Spectrum cable internet, and I had an old modem, and it was really slow, so they brought me a new one. But the tools they give me do not let me get into the port forwarding menu. Does anybody have any idea how to trick
Yeah,
this thing?
you got to get into the modem. It's admin, log into that. You got to go into advanced mode. I do it all the time. It works. You just got to get to the admin login and go into the advanced mode.
Well, I can get logged in. I just can't get to the menu for port forwarding.
You got to get into the advanced menu first, and then it's the access menu. Of course, I don't know. Maybe you've got a different modem now. They've got 60 different flavors of crap they put out on the network, but I can get to mine and it works just fine.
That same problem happened to me on my Fios modem. And rather than go around with them, with the horse and buggy show that they'll give you, I went out and got my own modem, a Asus modem. And lo and behold, it's a Linux machine, so I can actually get into the operating system on it. And it did give me the option from the menu of setting up IP as a forwarding protocol. So that was in the modem. No, I didn't have to go with the DMZ piece
Well,
of
it's
it.
too bad that Andrew hung up because Andrew's a technician for Spectrum. The problem is when you use your own modem on Spectrum, they give you a different IP pool and different DNS servers and all that stuff. So the performance suffers greatly when you're not using their modems in their servers and all that stuff. So, because I had to do that once when they didn't have any modems and I went out and bought one, and I noticed a serious degradation in performance. So, using their stuff is to your advantage to get the maximum performance. But so Rusty, we'll have to talk, but you can get in there and you may not have the right username and password based on the model because they may have different default ones or whatever. And then you can set your own username and password as well so that you don't have to use theirs. But
Thank you.
no problem. Yeah, Mark, Spectrum is kind of funky like that. I was the ping tests, the speed tests, all that stuff. When you used your own supplied modem, you did not get the same performance because they put you in different server pools and all that stuff that everybody that bought their own stuff, they didn't give you the high speed stuff as well as they give their own people. But you do have more control over things. I get it. Rusty, we'd ought to talk anyways because I missed what you were talking about when I signed on, so I want to catch up with you. All right. Anybody else got anything for the good of the group? Going once, going twice. Chicken soup with rice. All right, let's call it a night, kids. It's been a good quarter. Thanks for everybody's contribution. You're all awesome.
7-3.
Good night. Take care.
Take care.
73
night,
all.
all.
Stay safe. Two things.
You all do. Good
Stay
night.
safe and have fun.
Go ahead.
Okay, I need
Get out of here. Let's see.
copy.